All right, good afternoon. Little post-work quick hop here today. Nothing too serious, just a chance to decompress a little bit after a busy week. Tomorrow I'll probably do an alphabet challenge or another Pilot Edge cat rating. But today we're doing the old milk run I used to do in the real world when I wanted to get some practice in. And that milk run was from Albert Whitted, where we're listening to some live ATC right now. Here in St. Petersburg, Florida, up to Crystal River, which is a town, maybe 100 miles north, 90, 80, maybe 70 miles north, right on the Gulf Coast. Lots of fresh springs and manatees up here. Pretty cool. In fact, there's the Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge, you can see, because there's so many manatees that hang out there. Not a direct flight. Why not? Because we've got a lot of airspace to concern ourselves with. I'll turn the airspace rings on here in ForeFlight. We have the Tampa Bravo over the top of us. We have Albert Whitted's Delta, which is here, which runs into the MacDill Air Force Base Delta, which is just next to the PIE Delta. So there's a lot of controlled airspace through here, and you can't just blast through the Bravo north. So what you do is you fly out to the coast, and then you fly up the coastline, staying out of the Bravo. Although we're going to go up at 5,500 feet, we'd be under that shelf, but there's no reason to get yourself too close to it. And then if it's 6,000 here, so we want to be 5,500 beneath that. Sorry, if we go any further east, we're in the Bravo where we don't want to be. So 5,500 is good, 4,500 is good. There's usually air traffic coming in over the top here, coming into Tampa, controlled, sometimes over the top a little higher into Orlando. So you want to be sort of below them. So 4,500 feet, we're going west or east. Those would be odd numbers for VFR flights, so we'll probably go at 55, but, you know, I'll make that decision game time. And then up across the coast, and then if you're VFRing it, you can come over and then follow Highway 19 up, which is what I used to do. And the highway takes you right to Crystal River, and then Crystal River is an east-west airstrip. Depending on the winds, you make landing. Do a touch and go or two, maybe a couple stop and goes, and then turn around and fly back. We're going to go one way today. But I used to do this flight pretty frequently, just a way to keep sort of the rust off. Since we won't be talking to air traffic control today, I've got live air traffic control streaming in, and we've got live traffic in the sim. So we'll listen to Whitted here until we're out of the airspace, and then I'll switch over to Tampa approach departure, managing the west side, and we'll listen to that as we go, just to have a little noise behind us. So that is the plan, and with that being said, we'll go to our main view. And there's the Whitted tower. Ground and tower, sometimes same frequency at Whitted, sometimes separate frequencies. Today they're the same, it sounds like. Okay. Our checklist for the Cirrus. Let's first figure out the checklist for the Cirrus. There we go. Let's presume we've done our walk around, up in the bird, done the pre-flight. Caps handle is unpegged and the cover is off. Brakes are on, batteries 1 and 2, master on. Bus voltages, we'll see in a second. Circuit breakers are poked, strobes on, nav lights on, mixture full rich, power lever full forward, fuel pump prime, 6 to 10 seconds. I always want to just make sure I'm on the correct tank. Prime. We don't have fuel flow. Now we're on a tank that's working. Positive fuel flow. Then to boost, throttle open about 1/4 of an inch. Clear prop. There we go. Set it to about 1,000 RPM. Check the audio levels, make sure we're not blowing you guys away. Might turn it down just a titch. There we go. And I might turn up the ATC volume just a titch as well. There we go. Doesn't look like it's overexposed on the exposure for the camera. That's looking pretty good. Alternator 1 and 2 switched on. Avionics on. And we've started the bird. Hello Stan, thanks for checking in and watching. Flaps are up. Ammeter and voltages look good. Engine instruments look good. We'll listen to the ATIS. Used to have this memorized. ATIS here at Whitted is 118.875. Let's see if it's actually in here. Let's see, let's do this on COM 2. Let's try that again. Yeah, so this version of Albert Whitted that's in the sim doesn't have the ATIS in it. I've been working on a version of Whitted that's actually really accurate to the field. I used to fly out of it all the time. I haven't uploaded it to the gateway yet, but I will eventually. All right, so we'll just check the weather. The weather 0706. Okay, we're going to depart on 07, which is right in front of us. Get that bugged on our heading indicator. They always give you a left downwind departure from 07 if you're going north. Altimeter 29.92. That's correct because we're basically, it's given us Zephyr Hills. That's interesting. Yeah, so we got to get the right ASOS in here and explain. We'll go ahead and put in our flight plan. Hold on 1 second. Okay, there's that. I've got to reset my display capture sources because I redid my monitors. Every time Windows updates. This is why I didn't stream yesterday, by the way. I had a plan to stream yesterday, and Windows decided to update overnight, and it screwed up all my audio and screwed up a whole bunch of stuff. It was a major pain in the ass. Flight plan, SPG, then we are going to go to KCGC, Crystal River, and our altitude at Crystal River is probably 20 feet. Let's see, Crystal River is 9 feet. So we'll go ahead and we'll put the altitude in there. Just make it 0. Then we can do a little vertical navigation when we decide it's time. And we're not going to fly direct out there. We're going to fly out to the coast, so we'll actually worry about that plot line when we get out over the coast, and then we'll go direct. But we've got our destination in there while we're at it. Okay, we've got ATIS, PFD, everything initialization is checked on the PFD and MFD. GPS is all looking good. She's a little hard to hear. Turn the radio up. We would call Whitted Tower, and we would say number 15 Julie Golf is sitting at St. Pete Air with the weather, VFR departure to the north. We're heading out to the coast, and then they would tell us to taxi 07, and they would tell us that we're going to make a left downwind, to be ready to make a left downwind departure. So we'd say, great, and thank you. Hey Super HDs, thanks for checking in. I've been doing this for about 10 years. I built the sim originally about 9 years ago, and I've rebuilt it, the panel. I've never rebuilt the whole cabin, but I've rebuilt the panel a number of times for a variety of reasons to, you know, get it so it reflected different aircraft I was flying at the time. And I really want it to be a Cirrus SR-22, which is what I fly in the real world. Let's look at our audio mixer real quick. Everything's up loud, good. The ATC is just a little quiet, all things considered, because I think it just happens to be quiet coming out of Windows, the Windows stream. But we'll still have it in the background, which is good, better than nothing. So I rebuild the thing about every, I don't know, a couple of years, and it'll probably stay in this configuration for quite a while. Cirrus is the last airplane I fly. Let's get a little air conditioning running in here, shall we? There we go. Fans are working. That feels good. Okay, let's do our run up real fast. Since we're not going to taxi out, we're going to just do our run up here. Cab's handle safety pin is removed. Seatbelts are secure. Cabin heat, defrost, air conditioning as required. Flight controls free and correct. They're working right and left. That's good. Fuel quantity confirmed. Yeah, we got plenty of gas for this flight at least. Fuel pump is to boost. Fuel selector is to the fullest tank. It is. Autopilot check modes. Okay, well let's go ahead. We'll go into, I don't want to switch all the way over with the heading bug. We'll go into, yeah, we'll just do it the way we would normally do it in the real world. We'd bug, we'd go nav, we'd turn on autopilot. We'd turn to one way, our yoke would turn, we'd turn the bug to the other way, our yoke would turn, we'd hit the discon button, autopilot would come off. Perfect. Spin our heading bug back around to our departure heading, which is 070. PFD, MFD, and avionics are set. We've got our flight plan in, and it is correct. Brakes, we've got our brakes held, feet on the brakes. Then I'll look at chat again here in a second. Mixture full rich, power lever 1700. I'll give you guys the MFD view while we're doing this. Okay, 1700. Check our alternator with load. Turn on the landing lights, turn on the pitot lights, turn on the ice lights. Basically, we'll look and see that we've got battery is taking a charge. It is. No annunciation lights, which is good. Pitot heat off, ice off. We'll leave landing light on because we're going to take it for departure. Bus voltages all look good. Magnetos, we'll check left. We've got a drop. We'll check right. We've got a drop down to 1760. And they're within 100 of each other, which is what we want to see. 150 actually. Engine instruments all look good. Oil pressure in particular looks good. Power lever back to 1000. Circuit breakers, nothing popped while we're doing that. Okay, we're going to be making a rolling departure on runway 07. This is going to be a downwind departure. We'll be making left-hand turns with traffic because that's what they're going to tell us. We're going to climb out. We're going to maintain 1,000 feet until we're past the arrival path for PIE. Let me show you why we want to do that. Is that if you look at where we are, we're right here, and this is St. Pete International Airport, and it has Allegiant traffic, Airbuses, usually making arrival, landing north, and they are coming in right through here at about 3,000 feet. So we don't want to run into those guys. So we'll keep 1,000 feet until we're past the arrival end of PIE, and then we'll climb up to 2,500. We got to stay out of the Bravo, but the Bravo shelf here is 6,000, so we're okay. 3,000, sorry, on this side. So we'll stay below 2,500 until we're over the coast, and then we'll go up to 55. So we'll bug our heading. We've got that bugged. We'll bug our altitude to 2,500 feet just to keep us honest and to keep us from inadvertently getting a phone call from the FAA. So 1,000 to 2,500, and then we're over the coast. We'll go up above from that. Okay? That's the game plan. Okay. Yeah, Super HD, I'm a pilot in the real world. I've got a private pilot license in the US, and then I've also got an instrument rating. But I'm not an active pilot right now, so simulation is most of what I'm doing to scratch this particular itch. Okay, if you guys are getting the audio, okay, that would be great. Okay, again, rolling takeoff. We're going to be running 07. We've got, I used to know this all off the top of my head. We've got, 3,600 feet. We should have plenty of runway for our takeoff. Density altitude is fine. We're going to be making a left downwind departure. And as we said, 1,000 to 25 and then up to 55. Okay, that's the plan. Hey, Arben, thanks for checking in. Yeah, we're about to actually start moving here, so it should get better here in just a second. All right, so again, we're not talking to real air traffic control. It's all just virtualized at the moment, but we're ready to go. Parking brake off. Finished our run up, finished our pre-check. We're ready for our takeoff checklist. We will taxi out to the run-up point, and we actually have some real-world traffic here in front of us. Okay, we'd call Whitted, we'd say, Whitted, we'd switch over to tower, we'd say Whitted Tower, Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf, holding short. At Alpha 1 for 07, ready to go. They would say, just checking traffic here real quick. They would say, make a downwind departure, left-hand turns, and to the coast, heading 27 is what they would give us. And we'd say, great. And then we'd say we're ready to go, and they'd say cleared for takeoff, and we'd say we're going. Final checks, flaps 50, landing light is on, strobes are on, navs are on. Fuel pump is to boost. Doors are locked, straps are ready to go. Check our flaps, make sure they're down, they are. Hold short her, make sure there's nobody downrange. There is not anyone downrange. Make sure there's nobody coming. There's nobody coming. Put her on the center line. Then I always do a react call out. RPMs as expected, engine instruments are in the green, airspeed aligned on the center line. 50% of takeoff speed before 50% of the runway. And then I always say EO at takeout. I'm ready for engine out to keep the nose down and keep from stalling the airplane and killing ourselves. Full power. And we're off. RPM as expected. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed's alive. We're on the center line. 50 by 50. VX. And we're ready for engine out. Flaps coming up. Pitch for about 7 degrees. Make our turn. Remember, we're only going up to 1,000 here. 500 feet, caps available. We can pull the chute if we need to. And they gave us heading 270 is what they would give us. There's one of those Allegiant Airbuses I was talking about. All right. Pretty much a west departure. We'll keep this heading, and then we'll keep it at 1,000 feet. Take us down to about 75% power, so we're not fighting the climb. We've got Tropicana Field with the roof on it, which it no longer has over here. We're at 1,000, which is nice. And we can see ourselves here coming up in the distance. Right up the wingtip is PIE. We'll be over the arrival end of that in just a second. And now we're good. We can go up to 2,500 feet. Power back up. That was a little wake turbulence there. See that? Those bumps? That was wake turbulence from that arriving aircraft. That was pretty cool how it did that. We have traffic off our wing here. I've got him. He's right here. Cessna from Whitted. He departed just before us. Okay, we can go up to 2,500. Orbix does a great job with scenery. That looks great down there. And then once we get over the coast, I'll put it in cruise and we'll look at the chat. It's fun to do this again. I haven't done this flight in a long time. Okay, now I should be able to, they would release us and we would switch over to Tampa. And now that's the Gulf of Mexico in front of us, but with the sun setting and the haze, you can't even see the Gulf, which is pretty realistic actually. Easy to lose your bearings. All right, we got plenty of room here under the Bravo shelf. There's the beach. Okay, in a second here we'll be out. They've got an aircraft carrier out here, which is a little unrealistic, but that's okay. Now we can start to make our turn north, and we'll just follow the Bravo, follow the beach up. And now we can go up to 5,500 feet. We'll go 45 for now, since we're going to be sort of on a direct north to northwestern heading. Okay. Nice view out the right window. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go vertical speed. We'll climb at 500 feet a minute to our desired altitude, and we're going to go into heading mode and turn on the autopilot. Okay, auto's flying the airplane. Now we can switch over our live ATC to listen to, sorry about the camera bump, to listen to Tampa. Although I can barely hear them. Sorry about this subtle break of immersion here. Or not so subtle as the case might be. KTPA, Tampa approach west high, that's what I want to listen to. interesting, it's listed as PIE approach, but that would be Tampa approach out on this side. So that's fine. Okay. Now since we're in heading mode, I need to find some little, I've got this little keyboard here that I can use, but I don't use it often enough. Since we're in heading mode, we will use our heading bug to just take us up the coast. Oh, there, I can do it with that. Alright, so we should be able to hear Tampa here in a minute. It's buffering. And we'll just keep flying up the coast. Alright, I'll look at the chat. PC specs. The PC specs are on my website. I can never remember them, but I'll paste them into the chat here in just a second, then you guys will be good to go. Hold on. I just got a new PC, and here we go. And I'm basically running, one PC is running the front and side monitors and the avionics, the one that I just got, which is the most powerful. And then the other is running, here you go. The other one is running this side. And basically I've got a Ryzen 9800 X3D with an RTX 5070 Ti running all of this. And then I've got the older PC, which is a Intel i9 1290, and it has a RTX 3080 running this. This I cap at 60 frames, and this I cap at 30, because I'm broadcasting at 30 or 60 frames, and there's no need in having more. I want really smooth performance, and so basically it's enough juice that it can render anything that I want it to render, and I don't have to worry too much about overhead. That said, it can run out of headroom, especially in VR. So settings matter. I don't have everything maxed, but I've got them pretty full. Hail chat. Trash laser guitarist. I don't even know. I would love to know what a laser guitarist is. Stan Hirschman is asking, is it traffic global today? It's live traffic, and I'm bringing the feed in from world traffic. I'm going to disco the ATC for a second, or the ATC, the autopilot, and bring us over here, because it's actually a really pretty flight coming over Anclote Key and these islands over here. And Clearwater Beach is coming up right out this window. If you've ever been to Florida, Tampa area, you know what that's about. That's Clearwater coming in. That's Clearwater Pass right there. Traffic in front of us, quite a bit below us. You can see on the MFD. $2,700 feet below us, not anything we really have to worry about. And Hurricane Pass right in front of us. Yeah, so that's the rendering of Clearwater Beach out that window. So, you cruise out here, and then the next thing they'll be warning you about is the power plant up here, which has a tower that is, trying to remember, 1,500 feet. Not one you want to lose sight of. And ATC almost always tells you, like, are you aware of the power plant and the tower? And you say, yep. There you go. Okay, good. That looks good out that window. You know, people say X-Plane can't look good, and I think X-Plane can look really good. You just have to know what to add to it. And most of the additions are free. Orbix is not. Alright, so we still got to stay out of the Bravo. We don't want to make that mistake. So we got to stay on the right side of that blue line on the MFD. Oops, sorry. Operator error. We're going to stay on the left side of that blue line, not the right side. My part of my cockpit's falling apart. That ruins the immersion. Alright, there we go. Let's have a little altitude discipline here. You can't have autopilot do everything for you. Now, one of the things that you can do is use the flight director. The flight director shows you, I hit a button here that says FD, and it shows me basically a set of indicators, those magenta indicators, that for me to fly at the desired altitude and desired heading, I just got to keep it in that. So if you're hand flying, you don't want to use the autopilot, but you want to have guidance, you can use the flight director to give it to you. And that's what I'm doing right now. That bums me out. I don't know why that thing's falling over. This, the leatherette that I have that lines the cockpit sometimes comes disconnected. I got to really drill it in there. So you just sort of keep your yellow caret nestled inside that magenta caret, and it moves with the way that the autopilot would move. So if I were to change the heading a little bit, you'll see the flight director will show a turn if I go into heading mode. So I give myself 20 degrees right, and the flight director moves with it, and then I fly that way. And then it's like playing a video game. The only problem with it, also you can see the white diamonds on the PFD, that's traffic. So those are bogies. If I switch over to the MFD, you can see the traffic in front of me. And that's where they are in front of me with the synthetic vision. So you have traffic, different ways to visualize traffic, including on the screen. If you are, however, flying in the real world and not in the weather, the flight director can become a distraction. Like, you got to keep your head outside the airplane and be looking outside the airplane. That traffic display is useful, but you really should be using your eyes. And so, for example, here, like, I don't have an altitude set, so it's just I'm in a gentle climb because the flight director isn't thinking altitude. So I usually don't fly with the flight director on. I usually turn it off. Okay, pretty soon here we'll be able to go direct Crystal River. So we can go flight plan and select down to it and go direct, but there's a faster way. Faster way is if you just hit the direct button, it asks you if you want to go direct to your next waypoint. So I hit direct, and it goes direct Crystal City, and I go, or Crystal River, and I go, yep, and I hit activate, and now I've got that, and I can see on my PFD, now you can see the arrow that's on the compass rose. That shows me basically the direction to my route. And of course I'm now flying over so that I can keep that line centered. Okay. See what's going on in the chat. Yeah, that departure, yeah, so the question from Super HD is how do the two PCs work together? So X-Plane, there's that traffic right there. It's an Allegiant going right over the top, or some jet going right over the top. We'll see if we get any wake turbulence for them. X-Plane can have one machine work as the master and one machine work as the slave. It does it naturally. It's in the settings. It's quite easy to do. You just tell it the IP address or the name of the other machine on your network. You run X-Plane on both machines, and the master machine runs the displays on this one. So you need 2 copies of X-Plane, so you got to buy 2 copies of X-Plane, but X-Plane is, I think, $60 and well worth it. Sorry, I'm getting us down to 4,500 feet here. Actually, let's go a bit. Let's go a bit. I'm trying to kind of guess the altitude of these clouds up here. Let's see what Crystal River is showing. Let's turn on auto right here. Let's do this. Let's go vertical speed 400 up to 5,500, and we'll go ahead. We'll go nav mode, and we'll turn on the autopilot. Okay. We'll reduce our workload here for a second. Now, why is it flying us east? It's bringing us back to our heading. If you look at the PFD, you can see we're right of our course, how the line is off-centered, where it says GPS on the compass road. So it's going to intercept that. You want the line in the middle to be lined up with the magenta lines on the top and the bottom. And if they're all straight line, then you're on the right course. That's true for GPS navigation on this PFD. It's also true for VOR navigation if you're using radios rather than the GPS. Okay, so it's not too soon to start thinking about the arrival of the Crystal. So, Crystal 0, so we got to lose 5,500 feet of altitude once we get up to the altitude. There we go. So 5,500 feet, which means we want to come in pad our altitude is going to be 1,000 feet. So we got to lose 4,500 feet, 500 feet a minute. That's 9 minutes. So when we're 9 minutes out of Crystal River, we want to start coming down. Right now we're 13 minutes out, so we're getting close. We can go into flight plan mode and set a top of descent. And basically say at Crystal River we want to be at 0 feet MS, well, we want to be at 1,000 feet MSL. So let me go backwards. And then I can tell it what descent rate I want, 500 feet a minute. And then it will put a top of descent for me on my route, but I wonder if it did it on, yeah, so you can see the T/D there on the MFD. That's the top of descent, which we're coming up to. So we got to get ready for Crystal River weather. That's 118.325. We'll put that on COM 2. I'll switch over to COM 2, 118.325. Oops. Be sure to leave your flight plan mode before you start to do that. COM 118.325. We'll swap that over. It says it's receiving, but I don't hear anything. Do you? There we go. Altimeter 29906, so we'll change our barometer setting. We'll listen one more time. I can't quite hear the weather, the wind. This is telling me it's 270 at 8. Okay. So runways there are 9027. 27 obviously going this way. It's left-hand traffic. So we're going to enter on a 45-degree angle and then make left traffic into Crystal River. And we'll also need to call them or if we were doing the right thing, we would make a call on the CTAF when we get about 10 miles out, tell them that we're coming. Right now we're 27 miles out, so we got a ways to go. But their common traffic frequency is 122725, so I'll go ahead and punch that in. And then so we're listening to Tampa, then we would drop Tampa. And why listen to the center or the approach controller even if you don't have flight following? Well, I mean, sometimes you hear stuff that you need to know. Like, sometimes I've heard, here we'll put on our vertical navigation path now and we'll set the altitude down to 1,000. This is where we want to be. And then hopefully the autopilot starts taking us down automatically here in a minute when we get to the top of descent. We'll find out. But I've been flying and heard, you know, the controller talking to a Delta jet about me, saying, you know, there's a Cirrus 500 feet XYZ, and I've just set on frequency, like, I've got the Delta, so they know that at least I'm keeping visual separation. Like, it's good to listen to ATC when you're flying. It doesn't hurt anything. You don't have to talk. You don't have to pick up advisories, but it's good to be listening and paying attention. Although that's getting pretty distracting there. All right, we're starting down. That's good news. A little view out the right-hand window. Starting to get out of the metropolitan area. We'll take a glance at the chat. Oops, let's get the autopilot back on, please. Fuel imbalance, boost pump is on, switch tanks. Airplane's still working. Boost pump off. Nate, it's good to see you. Busking, lasers, I play guitar, that's cool. You opt to play guitar, playing 2 laser systems, that's very cool. Trash Laser Guitarist is a busking guitar player that uses layers, that's awesome. The departure, G-Man Fly says, I bet you didn't give that departure a second thought. No, I mean, you get used to it, that's for sure. I would really be aware of overhead traffic, and not just going into St. Pete, but there'd also be C-17s and KC-135s coming south of Whitted going into MacDill. Like, it's serious airspace. But yeah, it was pretty easy, left-hand turn, aim straight at the coast. Like, the road grid tells you what your heading is, keeps you on 270 if you're not paying attention to the compass. And keep it at 1,000 until you're past PIE, and then take it up to 2,000, and then once you're over the coast, just keep it under 6 until you're completely clear of the Bravo. All right, 19 miles out, we are making our way down, slowly but surely. Making our way down to 1,000 feet. Do we have traffic between us and there? A little bit. We're 8 minutes out. We can actually descend a little more slowly than this. It's taking us down, it says it's taking us down on the right path, so we'll just let the autopilot fly us down. But, come on, we're pilots. You can't let the machine do everything. Okay, autopilot disconnected. The Cirrus is a very stable aircraft when it's trimmed. It likes to hold its altitude and hold its pitch. That click is me hitting the trim wheel. I've noticed that Again, this yoke will stop working for some reason. It's like I have to wake it up by moving it. Weird. So, but it's stable enough you can let go of it like I just did, and then get your landing checklist ready. Also, what's cool about the Torque Sim is it actually has a checklist. So you can make your way through to flight, take ourselves over to descent, altimeter is set, we've got that. We can just go through them. Landing light is on. Fuel system is good. Mixture, full rich. Brake pressure, we got it. Oxygen we don't need. Go to the next checklist. Before landing, seatbelts are strapped in. Fuel pump is on to boost. Mixture and flaps. We'll take flaps once we get into the pattern, but you can actually run the checklist here in the system, which is sort of cool. All right, so Crystal River, it can be a little hard to see. It's wooded out here. One of the reasons I would, when I was flying the Cessna, go up the highway is there's not a lot of places to land an airplane when you're out here at 2,800, 3,000 feet. Like your gliding distance isn't going to get you there. Again, with the Cirrus, you pull a chute. But when I was flying the airplane that didn't have the parachute in it, I would fly over to the highway and go up the highway because I thought there was more fields, farmland, places like that where you could stick the plane if the front of it stopped working. You know the old joke, why does the propeller spin like a big fan? And the answer is air conditioning. You say, well, why air conditioning? It says, because if it stops, the pilot starts to sweat. That is the truth. I've never had, thank God, and knock on wood, I've never had an engine failure, but there's a couple times where I thought it was about to happen. Okay, 1,600 feet to go. We're still coming down nice and easy. I'm hand flying the airplane now. And we're going to come in on the 45 for Crystal. We're 11 miles out here, so pretty soon we would make a call on the common traffic frequency. Basically, the airport is right up in here. There's a mall that it's just short of. There's a road that it's just short of. There's two roads that come together, and then the town is just before that. Now at this point, I'll bug my heading from my runway heading, which is 2,700 feet, 270 degrees. Helps me visualize the pattern. I'm looking for traffic around Crystal River. And I'm looking for the airfield. We're doing 121 knots, which is a nice descent speed. We want to be about 100 knots in the pattern. So we're 10 miles now, so I'll make a call. I would say Crystal River traffic, Cirrus 15 Julie Golf, 9 miles south. We're going to be making 45 for left traffic into 27. We're 2,300 descending to pattern altitude, Crystal River. That way anybody who's listening knows who I am and what I am and where I'm going and what I'm planning to do. Airports that don't have control towers, all the pilots talk to each other. X-Plane 12, Beta is looking awfully good. Of course, that's Orbix scenery down there, but still, the atmospherics is all X-Plane. Okay, 2,000 feet, we got 1,000 feet to go. See if we can pick up the weather one more time.
Crystal River, 2903 5 knots, visibility at 10 miles, no significant clouds.
2905, okay.
22, altimeter 2995.
905. We've got two radios, so we can actually talk and listen on one. And listen and talk on the other. So I often will I'll listen to the weather on one radio and listen to air traffic control and talk to RTC on the other. All right, we're coming to 5 miles, we'll make another call. Crystal River traffic, Cirrus 15 Julie Golf. We're now 5 miles south. We're going to be making 45 for 27. left traffic, Crystal River. 1,800 feet. Not the most graceful call. Why do you say the arrival airport or the name of the airport at the beginning and at the end? Well, because somebody might have only heard the first or second half of the transmission. And other different small airports will share radio frequencies. So it's not unusual to be on one frequency and hear people, this is the airport right here, by the way, hear people talking on multiple frequencies, and you got to know which airport you're talking about. Okay, we're coming down to 1,000 feet. And then we'll enter on a 45-degree angle for Crystal. I think I might have designed the Crystal River that's in the game, if I remember correctly. This is also bringing our speed down. Okay, final checks. We're strapped in. Lights are on. We'll go flaps here when we're in the pattern. Engine instruments are on the green. We're on the fullest tank. Okay, Crystal River traffic, Sirius 15 Juliet Golf is on the 45 for left traffic into 27 Crystal River. Okay, we're going to be at pattern altitude in 100 feet. We're making 45 entry. There's our airport directly in front of us. Trim the airplane. There we go. That's good. I like that. And we'll make a nice tight pattern. It's about right. Crystal River traffic, Sirius 15 Juliet Golf, joining the left downwind for 27 Crystal River. Don't want to get too low. Don't want to descend too much. Okay, there's the runway about halfway up our wing, which is what we want. Straighten my pattern out a little bit here. We're a little slow, there we go. And then our landing point is coming up. 90 knots, 95 knots, 100 knots is right where we want to be. We're doing 97, which is great. We're a little high. Enter our landing point, first flaps, and take power out to about 30%. Let the plane start coming down. I'd usually count about 10 seconds before making my base turn. But we're a little high right now because I ballooned a little bit there right at the end of the runway. So we'll come down a little faster. Crystal River traffic, Sirius 15 Juliet Golf, turning left base 27 Crystal River. Alright, 120 direct gate, 87 knots, that's good. Level out, make sure nobody's coming down range. There's our runway, final flaps. Crystal River traffic, Sirius 15 Juliet Golf, turning final 27 Crystal River. We're going full stop at Crystal River. People might wonder if we're making a touch and go. A little high, we got 4 white, we'll just take power out. You use power for altitude, pitch for speed. We're 84 knots, which is great. So if we want to lose altitude, we just take power. Those trees are a little higher than they would be in real life, so I'm going to kind of keep it right here. We don't want to hit the trees. Hitting trees is bad. Okay, 85 knots, that's good, I like that. And right here we can cut the power, glide on in. Got plenty of runway. Alright, that looked good and felt good. Yeah, if those trees were really that high, I would have done just that. Like, forget the glide slope. You got to come in so you don't hit the terrain. Center line's there for professionals.
2000 cleared Iowa, 36
If I would have done this runway, I would have had hold short lines. Oh, but they don't have hold short lines in the real world. So we stop here, we make a call. Crystal River traffic, Series 15 Julie Golf is clear of 27 taxiing to the ramp, Crystal River. There's this big Kodiak sitting here. Do they give us a place to park? Not sure. Maybe somebody built a new Crystal River on top of mine. Well, let's presume that we can park over here. Go off-road. Just like Oshkosh. All right. We'll do the after landing checklist and then I'll check the chat. Runway cleared, ground monitor, power level 1000 RPM, pitot heat is off, fuel pump is off, flaps up. Let's look and make sure. Yep, they're up. Fuel pump, I already did, flaps, lights is required. And then turning off the Cirrus is easy, you just kill the mixture and then switches from left to right, or right to left. And then the keys. All right, so that is the old milk run parking brake on that I used to do, flying from Whitted up to Crystal River. I would never stop up here. I would do a touch and go or a couple touch and goes and then fly back. About 30 minutes up, 30 minutes back, 30 minutes in the pattern, 90 minutes flight time. And it's fun. And usually would ask for advisory, so I was talking to Tampa approach and departure on the way up, and then eventually you get up here far enough, sometimes they hand you off to Jacksonville Center. And we can still hear some of that. So I'm probably going to turn that off since our radios are off, supposedly. Yeah, so let's do a quick debrief on that flight while we're at it. First of all, no technical problems. Nothing wrong with the audio, nothing wrong with the screens, nothing wrong with the sim, nothing crashed. That's always good news. I had pretty good altitude discipline on the way out over St. Pete, Pinellas County. Struggled with some altitude discipline en route. I went back and forth on altitude. Should I go at 45? Should I go 55? Like, you want to have a plan and stick to it. I did a nice job hand flying the airplane on the way down. Descent was nice and stable. We made our calls all in the right places at the right times. I had that little 80 to 100 foot bloom right at the end of the departure end of the runway and the pattern on the downwind. But I just came down a little faster. Speed and angle and stuff on the approach were great. Touchdown was great. Yeah, so all told, pretty good flight. Let's see if there's any other questions in here. Yeah, so Nate, the push to talk, I've noticed that if the yoke is dormant for too long, the buttons seem to go dormant. It's like, I think what happens is the sim forgets that the yoke is there. It thinks that it's inactive. I think I just need to move this and then the buttons seem to work. I think that's what it is. And so the active, I've been thinking that calibrating it fixes it when really calibrating is just me moving the stick. So what I need to do is just give it a little nudge and then I think those things will work. Thanks for the compliments on the landing. What's up, Unc? Wrong number Z. Is wrong number Z family? I hope it's family. If it is wrong number Z, tell me who you are. And if those of you who might be here for the first time, obviously we appreciate subscribers here at On the Glide Slope. If you want to learn more about the sim, ontheglideslope.net. I put a link in there. It takes me usually a day also before I put up captions, timestamps, and all that kind of stuff. I'll put resources. So if you want to go back and look at the description at YouTube, you'll have a better sense. You'll be able to see some of that stuff. And other than that, it is time to make a Negroni and enjoy a Friday night with my beautiful bride, who's coming up on 25 years of marriage. Can you believe that? That is pretty awesome. And to me, on top of that, like, not only has she been married 25 years, she's been married to me. That's the impressive part. Like, I don't know, maybe she's got bad judgment. All right, thanks everybody for watching, and hope to see you on another stream soon enough. And until then, thanks for watching On the Glide Slope. I'll be streaming again this weekend. You can count on that. See you soon.